Hey guys, welcome back to my colourful country life. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a fun one. I am going to be answering a bunch of questions for the Colouring Confessions tag, which was created by the lovely Shel from Shel's Colouring Journey. And I'll tag Shel's channel down below so you can go and check her out. I was tagged by the wonderful Claire of Colour with Claire, as well as Tara from Tara Tripoli Arts. I will link both of their videos down below so you can go give them both a watch if you haven't already seen them, and show both of these ladies a little bit of love as well. So thank you to both of you for tagging me. I love both watching tag videos and participating. I think they are so much fun to watch. Now, I do think I am fairly late to the party with this tag, and most people have probably already done it. But if you haven't and you would like to, then consider yourself tagged by me, and I will pop all of the questions in the video description for anybody who wants to join in. All right, so let's get straight into it. Now, I am surrounded by piles of books here. They have fallen on me twice already before I even press record. So let's hope they don't fall over again. Our first question for the day is the oldest book in your collection. So the very first colouring book I purchased was Lost Ocean by Joanna Basford. However, I don't have my old copies anymore. I did complete that book maybe 4 or 5 times, and then I would throw those copies out. I know, sacrilege. And I have talked about this before, but I first purchased Lost Ocean after reading an article that was interviewing Joanna Basford on the benefits of colouring for mindfulness. Now, I did not know this hobby or this community existed at that time. I just wanted something to do to keep my mind and my hands busy at night, just to help relieve a little bit of anxiety. So after reading that article, I went to my closest Big W and I purchased Lost Ocean and some Staedtler fine liners, which I still have those fine liners and they do still actually work as well. So then one day I went in to get a new copy of Lost Ocean and they had sold out. So I picked up Secret Garden, which was there instead. And miraculously, I have actually held on to this old copy. So I am going to show you where I started, but I also want to show you my first colouring book from when I initially found the adult colouring hobby. So that was where I was first learning how to use coloured pencils. So this was prior to that. So we'll look at Secret Garden first, and I picked this up, I'm going to say mid 2018. And back then I would actually colour my books from front to back. So this is what my very first attempts at colouring look like. And this was, like I said, just bulk colouring with Staedtler fine liners. I don't know what I've got on here. I was obviously playing with something, testing something out. And yeah, like I said, I was colouring from front to back. A couple of fluoro pages here. So, you know, this may not be the colouring that you see me doing today. Look at this old page spread of neon leaves. But this colouring had its place. It had its worth to me at the time. It needed its moment. It did need that moment for me, and it was relaxing, it was fun, and it actually was a fantastic resource for mindfulness. And I would not take this time in my life back if I could. Oh, look, my nails are almost as neon as these pages. I love that sort of purple colour. It's one of my favourites. These colours. Tried a few earthy tones. I did go through a phase with the fine liners too. I was experimenting where I wasn't colouring every little detail. So we've left the door blank and the inside of the leaves blank. Yeah, but I would colour these from front to back, throw it out and get another one and do it again. And it was really just for anxiety relief, honestly. I think that's where it ended. Now, oh no, there's another one there. That looks like I've been trying some soft pastels maybe. When I first got my pencils, oh, there's a few more pages. See how I missed a few of the little bricks, the stonework? So I think that was it, but there is, let me show you. Oh no, I started this one too. Further in the back here. Oh, and some more. So I did start skipping pages. Oh, I like this page. I'll have to see, maybe I'll do a colour on in my new Secret Garden, or my most recent copy of Secret Garden. I actually quite like that. Yeah, so when we get to these things, let me lift this up. So what I'm going to show you next is my World of Flowers book. So what happened is one day I was scrolling through Facebook and up popped a picture of a coloured page from a Joanna Basford book. Now, I can't remember who coloured it or what book it was from, but it was coloured with Prismacolor pencils. And I actually took a screenshot of that, sent it to my best friend and said, this is what I want to do. I want to learn how to colour like that. And I became obsessed after that. So I talked to my husband and he actually bought me World of Flowers, which released that October, which was 2018, and a set of 150 Prismacolor pencils for Christmas. And that's where this begun. Now, when I got those pencils, and I'll show you this book, we'll go through this in a second. But when I got those pencils, I was trying to work out color combinations to not have my sort of flat coloring like I was doing here. I didn't know what I was doing. I hadn't yet figured out how to create a color combination. It was all new to me, and I did struggle at this point in putting color combinations together, which I think is part of the reason why I create so many for you all now, as I don't want you guys to struggle like I did at the beginning. But I'll show you some of these early attempts at color combinations, and it was before I really learned how to blend as well. And I know there's some more back here. And I've coloured that page there in the miniature Secret Garden. Here's some more. Like, look at these ones. These were my first attempts at trying to create a colour combination with pencils. That one is actually not too bad. I don't know where I was going here. Actually, this one's not too bad either. That pinky coloured one. And I think there might be some more in here. I don't know what I was trying to do here. Maybe a fun background. Bokeh effect attempt. Yeah, and that's it for that book. So let's have a look at World of Flowers, which was the first book when I actually started this as a hobby. So this is my first ever coloured pencil work. And like I said, I had the 150 set of Prismacolor pencils. I had nothing else in my collection, no other embellishments, pencils, anything. I did have scrapbooking supplies because I was a scrapbooker beforehand, but it didn't even occur to me that I could use any of those supplies in my colouring books. I went from using fine liners or textures, as us Aussies call them, to going to these colour pencils after realising what could actually be achieved with these pencils. And I was determined to try and achieve that level of detail and depth as well that I saw on that Facebook post that time. So you may actually see the occasional white Posca in this book. But there is no sparkle, no shimmer, no shine, nothing fancy, just coloured pencil work. So I actually love this page. I love this colour palette. I should actually try and recreate this now. These are colours that I would never use these days. I do tend to go for very bright, bold, vibrant colours. And like these pale flowers here, like that looks really pretty. Looks really like antique looking, vintage, even the leaves. And I would never colour a leaf that colour now, but it looks really good. And I would like to recreate it, and I would like to colour a leaf like that now. It's very interesting, isn't it? Looking back at your old work. So I would never reach for that sort of colour combination. And I don't know why. I think maybe my taste may have changed a bit, but I love it. And I don't even know what colours I used. And I do like this one. Like, I don't know what I was trying to achieve with the background there. It's not very well blended, of course. And I did have a blender pencil at this time, the Prismacolor blender pencil, which I was using throughout this book too, on some of the pages. I remember colouring this one as well. So it is all pencil work, so even the background. We've got a few white Posca details on this one too. That actually might be a black Posca for the border. This is one of my most favourite Joanna Basford books, and I don't know if it's my most favourite because I love the illustrations or it's my most favourite because it's sentimental. But either way, it is one of my most favourite. Actually, I think it is my actual most favourite. I do love Lost Ocean too, but that's also kind of sentimental. And I like Rooms of Wonder as well, hence why we're doing a full book colour along. Anyway, I love how this flower turned out. And I added in this background here. I kind of wish I didn't add the toadstools in, or if I did, I didn't give them the black outline. The toadstools kind of make it look a bit messy and don't match as well as the background does. This is really bright actually. I quite like the colour combinations I've used here, especially that one. And that blue combination. It's really pretty. Now this is before I was writing my colour combos down as well, or all of my colour combos. I did have a couple written down, which I used to repeat through these pages, which you can actually see here. I also used to use my neon pencils all the time. And so we've got the neon yellow in this combination, which you can see the combination is repeated throughout the double page spread. Same as the pink. Got the neon pink repeated everywhere, the orange. Yeah, so you can see all my colour combinations have just been repeated throughout. And yeah, that was me not knowing so much how to put a combination together. Oh, I like my glass work actually. My glass jars look good. I didn't white out any of those black lines or anything. I don't think there's any. Oh yeah, I've got some acrylic paintwork here, some Posca probably. Yeah, but before I really came to understand and work out how to put colour combinations together, I used to just use the same ones over and over again, just repeat them. And you'll see that throughout these pages too, especially those fluoro combinations. These have faded quite a lot, and my old blending, my very first attempts at blending my backgrounds. Here I've added in some grass, which it's probably not the best looking grass, but it works. I quite like it. I like how I've done these flowers actually. I like that colour combo too. Yeah, I like the butterflies. This bug, I remember I did this in fluoro colours originally, I think, and I did not like it. So I went in and erased as much as I could and tried to fix it later on. I do like the background, like this border area. The bug, not so much, but I think I had to use the dark colours to cover over that neon well. And I'm not so sure about this. I think it was like an early attempt at soft pastel. It's an interesting kind of marbled look actually. I remember being so proud of this one when I first coloured it. And that background, this was my original attempt at a bokeh background, I think. Yeah, I'll try and flip a bit quicker, otherwise we're going to be here all day. Now, this page I adore, and it's still one of my favourite pages. I did recreate, well, I didn't recreate this page. I coloured the same page again. Was it last year or the year before? I think it was like 4 or 5 years on, just as I coloured it to see how my colouring style has changed. And there is a colour along up on my channel for the new version of this page, but I actually prefer this version to my newer version. Yes, my newer version is more blended. It is probably technically better, but I prefer this version. I just love what I created, and this was so early on in my coloring journey, and for me to have added in all these background details, yeah, I think it was really creative. And I love the colors of this one as well. So we actually have an old rusty ute that looks just like this, which is what I mimicked the colors of the ute or the truck from. And yeah, added in these trees and the sort of like foresty background here. Added in my little sign, says forest. Now this says SSGGM. There is a podcast I listen to, and some people have picked up on what this means, and it is from a true crime podcast, and it's basically like don't go into the forest. Yeah, so yeah, and this page as well, I added in all that brick background. Now you can see this gap here. This gap wasn't here when I coloured the page. The page has now fallen flat. I didn't know about breaking in my spines or anything like that at the time. So this page was originally sort of like sitting like that when I coloured this one. So it now lays flat and you can see the gap. Now, one thing I have noticed looking at these pages is when I drew in the bricks and when I drew in the trees, I used a lead pencil to draw in the lines, and those lines are still very visible, as you can see there, and you can see there on the trees as well. So I didn't try to erase them in any way or cover them with some darker coloured pencil, but still I quite like them. And I was really proud of my little clouds here when I first coloured them as well. Yeah, and I thought I added, did I add one of these in? I can't remember what the original page looked like. Did I add both those sides in, or did I add one? I can't remember. I feel like I added a side in to close it in and make it look like a window, but I could be wrong. Maybe that was always there. And early attempts at whitening out my black lines as well. Yeah. I love the colours of this one. This one's very well blended. Love the colour combinations. I love this colour combo actually. And that colour combo. I'm looking at this colour combo now and I know exactly what I used for it. And I don't really use those colours very often, but it looks really pretty on this fish. I might have to break out that colour combo. I like this one too. The flowers. Oh gosh, this page is so busy, and I made it even busier because I added in this background and I added in the floorboards as well. Lots of experimenting on this page. Now I did make a mistake here when I was adding in the stripes for the background, and I brought it down into the skirting board, and I think I used liquid paper or whiteout at the time to try and cover it over, which wasn't that successful at hiding it. But yeah, I actually do like the idea of the background. The page was already quite busy, so probably could have done without it. I like the flooring. The colors don't quite match the floor colors to the rest of the page, and as you can see, I've used those same color combos that I was using back here. So those same neons, the pink here you can see, the yellows you can see here. Yeah, I've used all those same color combos, even the green combos. I've just repeated them again on this page. Yeah, I don't use my neon pencils very often at all. I love this heart. This one I colored, oh, what did I have in the background? Gosh, this was so long ago, I can't remember. Now I added in this stonework here, and again, you can kind of see the pencil and the stonework, but I did make a bit of an attempt to cover it a little bit this time. Yeah, so I quite like the stonework. The background I blacked out. I can't remember what I did. It was really colourful, like rainbow colourful. And I blacked that out. You can still see those neon combos coming in up here as well. And this one I added something as well. I'm sure I did. I think this side, because I think it just went round to there and then I added in that. Possibly. I can't remember now. This I followed Chris Cheng. Oops. Nothing there. This one I did not like at the time. I do like it now, but I remember at the time I did not like that page. The colours don't really, they're quite unusual to go together. I think this doesn't really match with the background, but I actually think it does in some way match at the same time. So at the time that I coloured it, I was not happy with it, but I do like it now. This one, oh, did I use this one for my how to colour flowers? Maybe my video on how to colour flowers. I can't remember now, but I love this page. These two are probably more of my later pages in this book. I love this background. This one I like the colours for it too. What else do we have? Oh, these ones. Oh, so this one I added in a tree trunk. Now, I cannot draw. I'm not an artist, but I was so proud of this tree trunk and the way it looks. So when I saw, so this page was just the flowers, and they were kind of just like floating there. So I wanted to ground them in some way. So I've added in this ground area and the tree trunk. Now, I think the tree trunk looks really nice the way I've drawn it. Color-wise, probably wouldn't do that color now. I don't think it really matches with the rest of the page. Even the green for the grass doesn't really match the color scheme as well, but I'm so proud of how I drew in that and just made the page my own, really, with this sunny background as well. Yeah. And I like this page too. I like the door. I love this one. When I first colored it, I was so proud of this page, and I did try and black out those lines. I love how colorful, oops, that's that pull out page at the back. I love how bright and vibrant that butterfly is. And again, I have used the neon yellow in all of those combinations. It just really pops, especially since I did white out those black lines as well. I didn't white them out that great. It looks like the pen might not have been very opaque because you can still see the black through it. I think it probably was a Posca at that time. I think that's all I had. And again, another page I was actually really proud of, and I added in at least some of these butterflies. I don't know if I added them all in, and our little quote here, I added all that in. Were there any butterflies on this page originally? I can't remember. Another little attempt at a bokeh background here. I do love the colours I used on the sugar skull as well, and the flowers at the top. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of the colours I used for these little combos. This one, oh, this one was a big, busy one. I actually remember colouring this here before we moved to the farm. We were coming down in the holidays, and I coloured this down here, sitting outside in the sun. It's faded a little bit, this one. This must be before I started using fixative as well. Yeah. I don't colour houses and stuff much these days. And that was me practicing bokeh background. Okay, so I think I've been talking for a long time. I'm already up to question number 2. So question number 2 is the newest book you have bought, and that would also be a Joanna Basford book, Wonderful Wildflowers. Now, I have done a review on this book, and it should be up on the channel by the time you're seeing this video. I've also coloured my first page in this book as well, which will be up on the channel soon as a colour along. I did mention in my review that I wasn't that enthralled by this book. I did find it a bit more simplistic. So there is a lot of negative space on the pages, and it just wasn't a book that grabbed my attention. So see how open that is? So much negative space on here. I do believe it, I love this rabbit actually. I do believe it is a great book for beginners, people who are time poor, or people who like to add their own details, get creative with the backgrounds. There is a lot of space to add in your extra details if you like to do that sort of thing. And there are some wonderful illustrations in this book, like this one that I would like to colour. So there will be more colour alongs up on the channel from this book, but at the same time, I love this one too. I am hoping for something different from Joanna with her next book. I just want something a bit more fuller, not necessarily more detailed, although I personally do like more details. I just want full page spreads, and I want these sort of small images like this kept to the more pocket size books. That's just my personal opinion. Like this, I love these 2 pages. This one specifically, I could do with a whole book of these busy pages, but I don't think I'm going to get one. That is what I thought I was going to get with this book though. So like these, they're very simplistic. It's quite repetitive. There are a lot of pages in here that remind me of World of Flowers. Yeah, so there's Inklings coming out soon. I have not pre-ordered that, and I don't think I'm going to be purchasing that book because I do still have small victories with lots of pages to fill up in that book. So I'd rather fill that book up and complete pages in the books that I have than purchase another small victories book, especially when it's not a subject I do tend to lean towards. So we will see what happens with Joanna's next book. All right, number 3, most colourful page you have completed. Okay, this one is easy. That would be the Luscious Landscape double page spread from Alien Worlds by Kirby Roseanne's. And I coloured this for a challenge video where I challenged myself to use all 150 Prismacolor pencils on the one page. So considering there's 150 different coloured pencils on this page, I think it will have to be my most colourful. And I do actually really love how this page turned out. If you are interested, you can watch the process up here. Also, any of the videos I do mention today, I will link in the video description as well. But I love this page and it came out quite cohesive. Yeah, so I'll lift that up and show you a little bit closer. It is so colourful. There's so many different pencils. We've got all the neons in here, which I hadn't used in so long. We've got all the metallic pencils. It was actually a really fun double page spread to color as well. I had a lot of fun with this challenge. I wasn't sure if I was going to fit a whole 150 pencils on a page, but this page was busy enough that we managed to do so. Now I do have a runner up which actually sticks in my mind, and that is the Underwater City Ruins from Worlds Within Worlds. Now let me find this page. I probably should have marked it. It's near the beginning here somewhere. Ah, this one. So this one sticks in my head because of how long it took me to edit the color along. I think it's in a 3-part series, if I remember correctly. But with each pencil change, I had to change the writing on the screen with the pencil number and pencil name. And because there's so many tiny little details, I was changing the pencil every 2 to 3 seconds. And the videos were all 4+ hours long. So you can imagine how long that took me to edit. It took forever. It took days. It felt like it took longer to edit than it did to even color it. Also, both of the pages I've shown you, so this one and the one from Alien Worlds, they are purely colored pencil only. So this is from 2020 or 2021, and this one was this year, 2025. And yeah, both are all colored pencils only. There is a bit of white Tuli art on this one, and a bit of white Posca or white Signo on this one, but that's it. And in actual fact, the entirety of Worlds Within Worlds was coloured by me with Prismacolor pencils only. I think near the end I did start to venture into other mediums like Distress ink and black Posca. So there might be a background or two with them. Otherwise, the entire book was coloured with Prismacolor pencils. And there is a colour along for every page in this book too. And there's a playlist for this book up on the channel, which you'll find all of those colour alongs under. So, question number 4. Most relaxing book to colour in. So for me, that would be Lulu's House of Wonder by Lulu Mayo. And in fact, any Lulu Mayo book would fit the answer to this question for me. A Million Sea Creatures was my favourite Lulu book, but this one has taken over. And for me, when it comes to Lulu's books, I find the subject matter so much fun, and I don't feel the need to make anything realistic. Also, I like to use a lot of mixed media in her books as well, and I just get lost in the fun and the shimmer and the glitter, and I find I don't have to think too much either when I'm working in her books. They're also such a good size, so you do finish the pages quite quickly and get that feeling of accomplishment. And just look how cute it is. So whereas in a different book, I might colour that all with coloured pencil work. In a Lulu book, I might use maybe a metallic paint for the centre of those sunflowers, or metallic paint for these little ghost creatures, that kind of thing. Or some paint for the background. Just like throw in lots of shimmer and shine and glitter, rather than coloured every single little detail with coloured pencil. Look at that. That's giving My Little Pony vibes. That is so cute. I adore this book. And the paper's really good too. And I love that it's a one-sided book. So I think, did I use my alcohol markers? I'm pretty sure I did. Where's the page I coloured? Back here. Yeah, you can see there I based everything with my alcohol markers. And we've got a bit of glitter and shimmer and shine. Look at that. They're just so much fun. So I think these are my most relaxing books to colour in. Anything by Lulu Mayo, but this is my favourite at the moment. So I can't wait to colour some more in this book in the upcoming months, and possibly have it as a project book for next year. So stay tuned on the channel for that announcement for project books. All right, so number 5 is most detailed, challenging book. Okay, so my most detailed and my most challenging are a little bit different, but I have a few to show you. So first, let's go with the most detailed, and that has to be Wildergorn by Jamie Courtier. And this book is so big, it is not going to fit all in screen. So let me stand up actually for this one. So this book is humongous. Like, there is a Kirby book to give you an idea. I could probably almost fit 2 Kirby books here. So I have coloured a couple of pages in here, and every page is packed full of detail. Look at that. I love the quality of this book. It is ring bound here, so you can fold it over like that, which makes it easier. It is such a thick cardstock on the cover. We do have this red ribbon here to mark our pages, and I'm wondering if that's what I've done. Yes. So there is a couple of pages, and they are both colour alongs up on the channel. So here is one of them. And one of these pages, I don't think it's this one. I think I used water-based markers and Prismacolors on this page, but I think my next page I might have actually used perhaps alcohol markers. I used my Ohuhu glitter pens as well. It'll all be in the colour alongs up on the channel, but I do throw a lot of mediums at this, and it does take everything. So with this book, I have the idea to colour all the borders exactly the same to give it that sort of antique look. So here, I'm pretty sure I did use alcohol markers as a base. I used Inktense only on the tree trunk here, I think. That shimmer you can see is the Ohuhu glitter pens. Yeah, look at the details. And there's so many pages. If I do this, I'll show you some of them. Like, look at that. It also comes with a bit of a story. Oh, there we go. Look how detailed that is. The attention to detail, the intricacy, the imagination just makes this book so special. Let's close this up and I can show you on the back here. It's got a few images as well. You can see these ones here. See how full and detailed? This is exactly what I love to colour. So I do only have the 2 completed in this book, but I would love to actually have this book fully completed one day. I do keep it actually just beside me on top of my my trolley here, my rolling trolley. One reason because it just doesn't fit anywhere, but 2 because if it's handy, I keep thinking I will pick it up. And I haven't picked it up in a while, so look at the details. They do take a long time to colour. So when I colour one, it does take up the majority of my month, which is probably why I haven't reached for it. But I would love to complete this entire book actually. Okay, I can sit back down now. So there is, like I said, there's a colour along for both those pages up on the channel. Plus there is a flip through of that book on my channel. And if you actually go to their website, they also link back to my flip through as well. There is a cow running through the paddock. What is happening right now? Is he okay? One second, guys. Okay, I'm back. She just had the zoomies, that's all. So this next book may fit the bill on both of those points, most detailed and most challenging. That is Secret Worlds by Stephanie Law. Now, one thing I do have to say about this book is the paper is exquisite. It is so beautiful to work with, as is actually the paper in Wildergorn as well. I have only coloured 1 page in this book so far, and that is this page here. I don't think this is a colour along on the channel. I don't think it is. Now, when you're looking at this completed page, it looks like it makes sense, right? It doesn't look too crazy. But looks can be deceiving because this is what the pages look like when they're uncoloured. So for me, the challenging part was actually trying to work out what was what and where things began, where they ended, especially with those like swirly things down the bottom. That was confusing me, and the grass and where it went up. So like I say, when people mention things like this to me about Kirby's book, so they might mention that they're a little bit confusing or they don't know where to start or what is what sometimes when they look at the pages. And what I tell them is colour one element that you do recognize and you do know what you want to colour it. For example, a tree trunk, a sky, some ocean, a leaf, a flower, anything like that, colour that. And as you start to colour each element, the rest starts to stand out more and you can see what's left, and it doesn't look too intricate then. It doesn't look too confusing. That's not the word I'm looking for. Intimidating. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but it all starts to make sense. And that's what happened when I was colouring this page, and it's just all Prismacolor pencils. There is a bit of metallic paint on there as well. I think that was the CSY paints I used back then. And up the top there too. I love that colour actually. So once you start colouring it, everything starts to come together. But when you first look at a page and you're seeing the details like this, it can be a bit confusing as to what things are. So you've got this line coming down here. So this is water, obviously. And then it finishes here. And it comes here. But then is this water splashing up here? Is it greenery? I guess it's all up into interpretation, isn't it? But like I said, once you colour the things around it, it does all start to make sense and not look so challenging. But this is definitely detailed and challenging. But the illustrations are gorgeous. I do love this book. I really need to colour some more pages in here. There's a oh, I like that too. Some beautiful Interesting illustrations. I wonder, I don't actually know if Stephanie has made any other colouring books. I should look that up. I'm sure she would have. This is the only book of hers I do own though. Oh, what was that? Oh, I like that. Yeah. Does anyone else have this book? Let me know. They will look, that would look stunning when it's completed. Yeah. So many beautiful pages. Lots of different subjects as well. I think there's a page, can you find the following items and creatures in the book? There is a page at the very beginning, I think, that I have my eye on. I like that one. I like that image too, actually. That might have been the one. It was very forestry that I wanted to colour. That's giving very Wizard of Oz vibes, isn't it? The Cheshire Cat. We've got a Ace of Hearts. Yeah, this is such a beautiful book, and the paper is lovely. Listen to that. It's bright white. It's quite thick. It's single-sided. Lots of details. Again, I do seem to be a bit time poor, but if I had a lot of time, this one, Wildergorn, I would love to colour more pages in these books. Okay, so question 6 is most unique art style. So this will partially answer the next question as well. Now, if you are a long time watcher of this channel, you know which artist I'm going to say, and that is the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Kirby Rosands. I have chosen my absolute favourite book of his, and that is Worlds Within Worlds. I find this book in particular, but all of Kirby's books really, and his imagination absolutely fascinating. I can't get enough of Kirby. And I have actually completed this book, so it will go towards my answer for the next question too. But let's take a quick flip through now. Start at the beginning. So I started this February of 2020. I got a copy of this book. So December of 2019, I got my first Kirby book for Christmas, which was Geomorphia. And this was my second Kirby book, and this was actually sent to me by the publishers as well. And it's about a year into my colouring journey with colouring pencils and stuff like that. So now the reason I did pick Kirby for this question, his work is so recognisable. This book in particular, because of the method he's used, he's amalgamating animals with strange habitats and entire universes and realms. It is just so uniquely Kirby. And even if you look at his take on aliens and even fairy tales, this man is an absolute master at creating strange realities. And he actually has a new book coming out in October of 2026, and it is a complete new release, so it is not a compilation book. And now the working title does keep changing. I think at the moment it's called Dream Menagerie. It was originally Wild Wonders, and then it was Zoomorphia, so it keeps changing. I will link it down below though if you want to check it out. The link will stay the same regardless of any name changes, but the new book is also about hybrid animals and habitats, so I'm really excited for that release. So like I said, I started this in 2020 and it took me over 2 years to complete. This actually could have gone for one of my most colourful pages actually. So could this. These pages are really colourful. This is probably one of my most recreated colour alongs by people, I think. I see this everywhere. As well as my library waterfall page too. That's a bit out there, isn't it? This one was a buddy colour. This is the one I was talking about. This is one of my, also my most recreated pages too, I think. So this is entirely Prismacolor pencils. We do have some distress ink work happening here, so an early cloud background. I am using a lot of white Posca, but so even that entire background, everything, it's all colored pencil. This is a black Posca background, colored pencil background. I haven't done colored pencil backgrounds like this in a long time, I think. Colored pencil background and another colored pencil background. That is not blended too well. I do like that color though. This is early distress ink. So if you see the way I do my distress ink these days, it does look a lot different to this. Let me lift this up so you can actually see, you can see the circle marks from the tools. Yeah, and that one, I think I did that one first and then this one second, and I tried to make it a little bit lighter, but as you can see, it's very early distress ink background, not quite like the distress ink backgrounds that I do now. So just to show you that, you know, we all start somewhere. Another Posca background. I have seen this one recreated quite a lot too, and these ones actually, and my bubbles. And this one. I love this one. This is actually a pencil background as well. That background took forever. I love the background color actually though. This one I coloured before I started doing this as a full book colour along. So I thought I would do like one page as a colour along, one page just coloured by me, and then another page the colour along, then one just for me. So one for you, one for me. And I do not like this end result. So I did recreate this. I bought a new copy specifically to do a colour along for this page because it was supposed to be a full book colour along, and I'd already coloured this myself before deciding it was going to be a full book colour along. So that is one of the main reasons I did buy the second book, but also because I wasn't too happy with my colour scheme. So I did pick a colour palette, the pinks and blues. I was going a little bit Barbie dream house with it. The background was also like, I've coloured over it with this purple Posca, which is actually rubbed off in a couple of places, but underneath was a full coloured pencil background, and I was trying some sort of bokeh effect, but I was using the pinks, the purples, the aquas, and it was just a whole big mess. So I covered it with the purple Posca. Let me show you the newer version of this page. Okay, so this is the newer version, which I much prefer. It is much more closer to my current colouring style. So I coloured this at the very end. It was one of the last pages I coloured. So this would have been 2022, I think, actually. It's not written there. It would have been end of 2022. And this would have been, so February 2020, around that time. So 2 years later. And we've got a little bit of a difference there. So this is the one that is the colour along up on the channel, not this one. Now I did actually purchase this book. I've just realized it wasn't specifically for this page, but originally I purchased it because I had to recreate part one of a color along after I accidentally deleted the video one morning while I was half asleep checking my YouTube comments in bed. I somehow managed to delete part one of this color along on my phone, so I recreated it, and that's, I'll show you that page when we get to it. But yeah, I coloured it a second time, so you would have part one up on the channel still. So full pencil bokeh background and distress inks. An early version of an attempt at a bokeh background. And this is when I was drawing, and some of you will remember this, when I could not draw a circle for my life. So I was actually using pencil to draw my circles. Yeah, I can still see a little bit of the pencil. I've seen these ones recreated quite a few times too. I love these colours. I love that sort of rose gold fish. This one, I don't know what kind of background I was going for here. I actually quite like it. I think it's pretty cute, but and I love the colours. These ones. I love creating that. That There's a how to color galaxy video on the channel, I think. This one, we've got a distressing background for change. Full colored pencils. Again, this is one of my earlier pages in the book. Again, all colored pencils. There's no sparkle in here, no shine. We've got a black Posca background. All colored pencils. Again, all colored pencils, including the background. All Prismas again. Oh, I like this. That's cute. And this is the one I had to recreate. So I accidentally deleted part 1 and had to go back in and recreate it so we weren't missing a video up on the channel. And that is a coloured pencil background, a Prismacolor pencil background. Gosh, I went through some Prismacolors when I coloured this book. And this was my very first page coloured in this book. I'm trying to remember which side I coloured first. I coloured one half for myself, and that was for the launch of this book. So when this book was being released, LOM Art did contact me and asked me if I wanted to join their blog tour for this book. That was before I had a channel or anything like that. It was over on Instagram, and I'd only coloured 2 cover pages before my entire life. So I was very excited to try the new book, and I coloured one half of this shoe. And then I was asked, do I have any colour along videos or any tutorials on how I colour? And that is why I started the channel. And I coloured the other half of the boot, which I think was a 4-part colour along, if I remember correctly. And back then it was, when I filmed it, it was filmed as a chatty colour along. But because I had to edit it and cut it up, none of the talking made sense. So I had to cut out all the talking. So they're really badly edited videos, but that is the very first videos up on my channel. So that's where I started, and that's all colored pencil. Yeah, this is one of my last pages that I colored in the book as well, and that is a distress ink cloud background there, and that is it. So question number 7 is books you've colored most. So obviously Worlds Within Worlds, which I've just shown you, is now complete. I also have Mythic World by Kirby Roseanne's, which is also complete, and this was also completed as a full book colour along on the channel, and there's also a playlist for all the colour alongs in this book as well. So let's flip through this one. I'll try and flip a bit quicker because I feel like I've been talking for ages, and this is going to be a super long video. And heaven help us all when I do my colouring book collection video, because I think we decided on one video for all of my colouring books. It's gonna be a long one, guys. Might need a bit of a snack break on that one. So, okay, this is actually really fun. I'm getting really excited flipping through these books again. I haven't looked at them really that much since I completed them. And my husband said to me, I still remember at the end of Worlds Within Worlds when I finished it, I was so excited, and I gave him a personal flip through of the book. We sat there on the lounge and went through it all. And he's like, okay, so what do you do with it now? I was like, I don't know, put it on the bookshelf. I don't know. I can look at it every now and then, and I don't really look at it that often, so it's really fun to have a look back and see my earlier work, where I am now. It's just really fun. So I started this book right after completing Worlds Within Worlds. I think I managed to get that done like a couple of weeks before this book came out. So this is like taking a journey through nearly 5 years of my past colouring. It is so interesting to see how much my colouring pages have grown and developed over the time. Yes, so this one, I remember deciding to leave the background blank to make everything pop out. And I did use the same colour combinations for all of these little elements that I used inside the book, because they are little bits and pieces of the images from in the book. Okay, and so is this as well. These were all little images from things that are inside the book, and we've got a distress ink cloud background, and I will flip a bit quicker. We've got a lot of Neo Color 2 on this page. These are full Prismacolor pencils. So the ones that are full Prismacolor pencils will be the earlier pages that I coloured in this book, because I don't tend to do full Prismacolor only work anymore. And you'll see there's no sparkle or shine on this page at all. I love those clouds. I love that colour combo. This one, the background turned out to be a little bit of a mess. Didn't turn out quite what I was thinking in my mind. This one I love, and I have seen this one recreated a lot of times too. This is completely coloured pencil work. I absolutely love this. It's one of my favourite pages, I think, in this book. That was Castle Art pencils? No? Yes. I think that was Castle Art pencils. Most of this book is Prismacolor, so that's Prismacolors, but there are, I think there's a Luminance one in here, and they're all colour alongs, like I said. This took so much white Posca, I believe. Yeah, but the final result was fun. This was a lot of Neocolor 2 work. These are my early Neocolor 2 backgrounds, so you'll be able to see so this one here, I think I've mentioned this one before. This background here is one coat of Neocolor 2, and you can see how desaturated it is. I've actually used exactly the same colors for this background. So that is an early Neocolor 2 background, and using exactly the same colors, but a little bit later on when I've actually got the hang of them and have learned what works well for me. This is a more recent Neocolor 2 background, and you can see the depth of colour I've managed to get, the richness. Now the light colour actually matches that page, and same with this one. It actually matches really well, so I am quite happy with the way it looks. But yeah, I realise now 2 coats, you get that beautiful vibrant look that I really love. And I do love this double page spread, another favourite for me, I think. Full Prismacolors. This one I think I've got a bit of Inktense, a bit of Neocolor 2. This one I think was Neo's as well. I love this double page spread too. This one I was dreading colouring. I think I left this one to near the end, mainly because of all these tiny details, but I adore this page. I love how it turned out. That's a Neocolor 2s. Oh, this one was Polychromos. I remember that one. Bit of a limited palette. I like this background, Neocolor 2s. All coloured pencils. Both are all coloured pencils. All coloured pencils. A lot of Neocolor 2s on this page. I love those colours. This colour palette's really pretty, I think. This was my Caran d'Ache Luminance pencils and a Posca background. That's also a Posca background, I think. Yeah. A lot of Neocolor 2s on that one. That is a soft pastel background. That's the Artex Soft Pastels. And this is where I started using my shimmer sprays. Can you see that shimmer? This is Polychromos with an Artex Soft Pastel background. And that is the Sparkle Shimmer Spray. So that earlier page with the Neocolor 2s here, that one I used the Gold Kaisercraft. I think that was the first page. Maybe I used that Gold Kaisercraft shimmer spray on. I love it. It really adds to the effect on that page. That was all coloured pencils. That is a Neocolor 2 background. I think that was Neocolor 2s, and then I went over it with coloured pencils, maybe. I like how that turned out. A lot of Neocolor 2s. All pencils, that's got a Neocolor 2 background. A lot of Neocolor 2s on this. I think everything except the fish and this little guy is all Neocolor 2s. Limited palette. That is Black Widows. That one is Polychromos. And that's a Neocolor 2 background, but that whole thing is Black Widows, including the background. That is watercolor paints. And it's got the shimmer spray on the background too. There's stickles on there. It's really shiny and sparkly. I've seen this one recreated a few times too. I think it was one of my first watercolor backgrounds, and I did get a bit of a not necessarily a bleed through, but some of the color came across the top. See, I can still see a little bit of it there and here as well. It's quite well hidden though. Yeah, just along the edges. So a little bit of watercolor here and here, and maybe even a little bit here, but I covered it pretty well, I think. I love this double page spread. Everything, all the greenery is Neocolor 2. I'm pretty sure. This one I kind of thought was going to be boring, and I did leave it to the end because I thought, oh, all that stonework, it's going to be really boring. But I actually had a lot of fun with this page. I based it with the Inktense and went over with Prismas, I believe, and I love the final result. I really do like this page. I love the gothic effect. And yeah, it wasn't boring at all. I've seen this one recreated quite a lot too. Got a soft pastel background, very early soft pastel background. It's a little bit boring. I wish I had done that background a bit different. I would like to have added a bit more color on this page too. Maybe changed the trees up a little bit so it wasn't all... so I've used 2 different color combinations, but I wish I'd used a bit more to break it up. This one I was not a fan of coloring actually. And then we've got this one. And our final page, I do like that page too. So here we go. I started in April of 2022 and I completed it in May of 2024. So because I can't seem to stick to just one book per question, and obviously I'm liking the sound of my own voice today because I can't stop talking, I also want to show you Rooms of Wonder by Joanna Basford. So this is another full book colour along up on the channel, but it is not yet completed. So hopefully 2026 will be the year in which this is completed. And there is a Rooms of Wonder playlist up on my channel which has all the colour alongs from this book in it. So this book I started colouring in, I think it's been 3 years. Can I read that information? What's the date? I can't read it, but I think it was either 2021 or 2022 this was released. I can't read it, but it's been 2 going on 3 years, something along those lines. So this is my most recent work in Joanna Basford books, but like I said, it's been a few years going, so a little bit different to the work I showed you back in question 1. So this I did in my Joanna Basford marathon month, which I think was it August or September, something like that. So I did a few of them. That is I think it's a watercolor paint background, or it could be a Neocolor 2 background. Some Distress ink background. So compared to the Distress ink background I was showing you in Mythic World, this is one of my more recent ones. So where were those? Was it Mythic World? The crowns? No, that was Rooms of Wonder. Oh no, not Rooms of Wonder. Worlds Within Worlds. Hang on. Worlds Within Worlds had the crowns, didn't it? These ones. So early Distress ink work, current Distress ink work. I'm sure that was Distress inks. So early Distress inks, current Distress inks. So I've got lots of shimmer spray on those pages too. So much of this is completed now. I'll flip through quite quickly. That was an Inktense background that took forever. This one I'm looking to start this month. Got Albert Durers and Polychromos. Prismas. I love these 2 pages together. I love these 2 pages together. Not a big fan of wallpaper pages. That was one of the... Actually, might have been the very first page I coloured in this book. I remember Joanna was reposting this one at the beginning. This is a very recent double page spread, which I love. This is one of my favorites in this book, and I've seen this recreated so many times, sometimes with different backgrounds, but yeah, for the most part recreated. Another wallpaper page that took so long. I love these two, and I think they look really nice together. That, I think, was a soft pastel background. And they're still to go. I do love this. So this one, I think I'm going to match it with the pastel themes as well. These two I love as well. This is gouache in the background. I think it was Inktense and Prismacolors. Washi tape. I use washi tape in this book. Soft pastel background. I learnt my lesson on those wallpaper pages. This one reminds me of one of the pages, one of the more intricate pages that I was in Joanna's new book, Wonderful Wildflowers. This I love, and I have seen a lot of people recreate this one as well, especially my little shower scene here too. Another two favorites from this book as well. These two are actually become favorites. When I colored this page and did this background, I went in and changed this one a little bit. So when you see the color along for this page, it does look a little bit different. But if you go to the color along for this page, I then explain how I changed this page to match. Yeah, but I adore that page. Some more metal work. That one's a fairly recent one too, and most of these I still have left. These two, this one I was trying a different technique. Not sure I quite like how that turned out, but it is what it is. This one's, I love my little cake here, and he's very glittery with the sparkle pop pens down there, very sparkly. I missed a page, nothing on there. We've got this one, the bubble bath. I did all these bubbles in the background. I'm not quite sure I like the background, and the bubbles took forever. I thought I would do that to make a quick background. It was not a quick background. And then that one there with the distress inks and the shimmer sprays in the background too. You can see that. So I did check my colouring book tracker to see what book I had coloured in the most that wasn't actually one of my full book colour alongs, and the answer to that is World of Flowers by Joanna Basford, which I have showed you back in question 1, so I won't show you that one again. And I do feel like I could complete that book if I tried. It is nearly complete, but I kind of feel like I don't want to touch it because it is a book from my beginning of my journey. I do have a second copy which I have coloured in as well, so maybe I could colour more in the second copy. I don't think I want to complete that first one because I don't want to mix in some new colourings with the old ones. It's just kind of a sentimental thing, I think. So question number 8, a book you love but haven't coloured in yet. So this one was a little bit tough. I do try to colour in all of my books as soon as they arrive. I had one uncoloured book that rolled over from 2024, which sadly is still uncoloured. My Hidden Oceans, the new English edition that Rita Berman sent to me, I am yet to colour in. I do have the original German edition, which I have coloured in. Rita also sent me the Hidden Earth, which I have coloured in as well. So I'm hoping to get to Hidden Oceans this summer. I do also have the Thomas Kincaid Disney books that I have ready for a challenge. As well as 2 Aussie cute and cozy books I did purchase recently. That's all of my uncoloured books in my collection that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm going to have to choose the Mythographic Artist Vault. So this was kindly sent to me by a lovely viewer. It was really hard to get here in Australia. Actually, it was impossible to get. As it says, only available at Walmart. So someone very kindly and generously sent me a copy, which I really do appreciate. And I did actually pick this book up at the end of October. I was working out my November plans and I did flip through the book, and I have marked a couple of pages that I would like to colour going forward. So perhaps soon I might get to one of those pages. This is one of them here. This is by Joseph Kattenbang. I do like this page. It kind of gives me Mouse Guard vibes. I think it's just with all the was going to say Greyscale, but I don't know if I'd necessarily call it Greyscale. All that shading. The other page is this one here, which I've got written down is from Mythographic Animals, and that's Joseph Cattenbang as well. So that's another one that I wouldn't mind colouring. Yeah, this one, I kind of get spring vibes from it. There's so many of those little doodles in here, isn't there? We've got a paper clip, an arrow, a lock. And I don't think there's any of that in the other page. It looks reasonably normal, I think. Not so many hidden objects here, I don't think. Yeah, I think I am more drawn to this one. So maybe one day soon I will get to colour in this book. So that is Mythographic Artist's Vault. All right, we're up to question number 9. Book you would save in a fire, sentimental value. Okay, it says book has, not books, so I think I am meant to only pick one again, but I can't. I am grabbing my completed Worlds Within Worlds, my completed Mythic World, and I'm also going to grab my Kirby Roseanne's 10-year celebration book. Considering all 3 books actually sit together on my shelf, I think it counts because I can just grab all 3 at once. It's easy enough done. So I have shown you a flip through of Worlds Within Worlds and Mythic World. Worlds Within Worlds has sentimental value to me, as it is a reason I started this channel, which I did talk about before. It's also the first book I have ever completed. It took me over 2 years of my life, same with Mythic World. But this book also includes the page that Kirby chose to include in his World of Colour compilation book, and also in the 10-year celebration. So if I had to narrow it to just one, it'd probably be Worlds Within Worlds, because it can't be replaced. It can't be replaced. And that, yeah, Mythic World as well though, mostly because it is a completed book and I love it. I put so much work into it. I don't know if that counts as sentimental though. Worlds Within Worlds is definitely sentimental. Mythic World, with a lot of work, it's completed. Is it sentimental? Not quite sure, but the 10-year celebration I would grab next, because my page was included in this book and I was so surprised and so excited to be included in part of his 10-year celebration. And this is my double page here. When it was included in World of Colour, I did sign a contract giving Kirby the rights to use my page, so I knew it was coming for that book, but I had no idea he was also going to include it in the 10-year celebration book. So that makes this book a little bit sentimental to me, even though I could easily just go buy another copy and replace it. But this was sent to me by the publisher. Here is the little information that he's written about me down the bottom here, about my page. Yeah, so this could be replaced, but the original, which is in Worlds Within Worlds, this can't be replaced. So I guess if I have to pick one, it's going to be Worlds Within Worlds. There it is there. The original and the reprint. Okay, now question number 10 is book with the best paper quality. All right, so I already mentioned Wildergorn and the Stephanie Law book. Both have amazing paper to work on. Another favourite would have to be by Books by Storm's Eye Design, or Emma Peters. The paper in these books are amazing, and I would say on the same level, if not better, probably I would say even better than the Stephanie Law book. So I've coloured a few pages in here, and there's that one. And this one I haven't coloured in yet. Actually, so there you go, another uncoloured book. But I do have it aside for my November plan. So it didn't even cross my mind as an uncoloured book because I do plan to colour in it. I think that's the page I chose actually to colour. Yeah. But the quality of the paper is just amazing. Look. Listen to that. And so many pretty images as well. I am also going to suggest Christine Caron. So I've got one of her books here. So any of her premium editions, I have Wondrous Folk and also Wildflower Folk. I haven't got Little Folk yet, but it is on my wish list to pick up eventually. And these books are actually currently $18, so that's Australian dollars, which is very reasonably priced as well. And the paper, it is off-white. It's still quite a good thickness, and the pencils just blend really well. There's one that I've coloured there. Is this a colour along? I don't know that it is. Oh, I did my how to colour hair tutorial using that, and then a couple of other pages. And this one, I don't think that was a colour along either, but I love how that turned out. And I love how well the pencils blend on this paper as well. And that's a Neo Colour 2 background. And you can see here the page is barely warped at all. Like if I lift it up like that. So that paper is beautiful. I'm gonna leave this here actually for the next question. I'm also gonna say Hannah Carl's books. They're also a favourite of mine for her paper quality. I am more of a fan of her earlier books before she changed her publisher, but the paper quality is fantastic in both, and they take all mediums so well. So question number 11 is favourite Greyscale colouring book. So again, I'm gonna have to say Christine Caron, which is actually quite a light grayscale. So I don't know if it counts, but I don't actually own too many grayscale books. So for me, it counts. The paper quality, like I said, is brilliant. The images, the illustrations, I just adore the way she draws these faces. Look at that. That's a good one for Christmas. Oh, I pulled this one out for November plans. And I actually had... Which one was it? They had the sled. It was the two kids, I believe, going down the hill. It was down the back somewhere. That one. The Snowy Trail. I had that, I think, marked as a possible one for November plans. But now I'm looking at this page. I might change my mind. I do like that. I really like that. Unless I do one in November, one in December. We shall see. Yeah, but I also want to show you another book. Oh my gosh, I've got books everywhere. Dimensions by Francois Gautier. So this one is a 3D grayscale colouring book. And if you look at that, so this is heavily grayscaled 3D. Beautiful images. But if you look at, so there's one that I've completed. And I think that was the first one I did in this book. And then the second one was a colour along up on the channel. And that is that one there. I have seen this one recreated quite a few times as well. So my pencils just blend really beautifully on this paper. This is all Prismacolor pencils. There is a bit of, I think it's Jelly Roll Glaze and a bit of white Posca on there as well. But yeah, so I love how these images look when they're completed. This is a beautiful book as well, and I like the paper too. This is published by LOM Art, which is one of Kirby's, it's Kirby's UK publisher. Some really cute images, I like that. Very Harry Potter vibes. I like that one too. Yeah, and they really do look 3D once you've coloured them in as well. Such a fun book. I wish you would do more of these style of books actually. So, next question. Question 12, book that intimidates you. So at first I found this one a bit tough because I normally just dive in and give anything a go and, you know, whatever happens, happens. But I found something and I did choose not one, but 3 books actually. My Thomas Kincaid books that were sent to me by a lovely viewer. And I do plan to colour a page as a challenge video. Now, the line art in these books, it's actually given me Stephanie Law vibes, the way these trees are drawn and the mountains and things like that. That is the artist I named as most challenging. And these images, for the most part, they're pretty detailed. We also have this coloured image for inspiration. So this is the bit that's going to be tough for me. This is the challenging part. I don't colour with realism. Trying to imitate that look onto the line art, it's going to be a real challenge for me. And obviously I am aware that I don't have to imitate it at all, but I want to. That will be my challenge. But I think this is going to be a challenge for next year now. I don't think I'm up for it in the December month. I really want to try using some gouache or acrylic markers to get those realistic effects. So this will be a fun challenge. What's the paper like? Yeah, maybe the poster book might be the one. But look at the tiny details. And trying to make that look like that, or that look like that, or the sky. Yeah. Yeah. This is going to be a massive challenge. And I still remember my daughter's face when I told her what I was planning on doing with these books. And she looked at me like I was absolutely crazy. And yeah, it might be mission impossible, but I don't think it is. I've seen other people do it, and I think, you know, I'm going to give it a go. I might try it in here. Yeah, the paper's, oh, that's pretty. The coloured images are at the back, I think, for this one. Yeah. So that is that. Trying to make that look like that. Actually, this might even be harder because these images are so tiny and that is so big. It might be easier doing one of the little books, I think, to start with. But yeah, this is definitely going to be my biggest challenge yet. But I'm up for it. I will give it a go and we'll see what happens. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then I've learned something and I've had a bit of fun in the process. So yeah, like you're getting that tree to look like that. Yeah, okay, that's next year's issues. So up to question number 13, which is book you want to finish one day. Now, like all of us, I'm sure I'd absolutely love to finish all of my books, but I am going to say Rita Berman's Africa. I adore this book and would love to have it completed. It was one of our project books this year. So there are quite a few colour alongs up on the channel. And I'll give a quick flip through because I think I've been talking for a few hours at this point. I thought there was a coloured page there. Yeah, so all of these are colour alongs up on the channel. There's a playlist for this book. Rita said to me that this was her favourite of all my pages. But I will show you my favourite when I get to it. I do like that one actually. And I like that one. I think that's my most recent. Oops. Did I miss something? Oh, are they stuck together? Uh-oh. Okay, no, that worked. That's the stickles. Was that stickles? No, it was the, what's that paint? Extreme glitter. It was the extreme glitter hologram paint. That's what was sticking. Yeah, oh, and you know what? If you guys remember when I was looking to colour this page, I wasn't sure like what was water, what wasn't water. I was going to colour this as sand. And then like some of you guys in the comments were talking to me about like, look at how the ripples are around the ore, that sort of thing. So I went with water, and then I saw Rita Berman colour this page and she coloured this as sand. And I think she even put sand up the top here as well. I was like, oh, okay, so it was coming into a beach. But we have the ripples and the oars going in. But yeah, Rita coloured her part here as sand. And that is Neocolor 2s, Distress ink, Prismacolor pencils. I've thrown a lot at this book. But this is my favourite page that I've coloured in here so far, I think. Oops. Yeah, I love this one too. This one I've seen recreated quite a bit. I don't know if there's any more. Oh, we got this one. I've seen this one done a few times too. Don't think I've got anything else to the front. So that is one I would like to complete one day, but there is still a lot to go in that book. But I have another one which is new on my list. Where is it? Here it is. And I showed this for an earlier question, but it is Lulu Mayo's Lulu's House of Wonder. I would love to complete a Lulu Mayo book. It is very much adorable. One day I hope to have this completed. So it does take me years, like I mentioned, to complete a book. So Rooms of Wonder I'm going on 3 years, if not more. I'm going to have to find out when that was first released. But yeah, the Kirby Roseanne's books, 2 to 2.5 years each book. So yeah, I don't know that Lulu would take me that long, but we shall see. I mean, it's still like, if I'm only colouring like 1 or 2 pages a month, it's still going to take just as long if there's the same amount of pages, if that makes any sense. All right, so question, where are we? 14, best book for practicing new techniques. So I don't really practice new techniques. I just kind of dive in and hope for the best. But I do have a favourite artist whose books I do like to test new mediums in because her paper is awesome, and that is Hannah Carlson. And I have pulled out Summer Nights because currently I do have a background series happening in this book where I'm going to be creating different background effects with different mediums. So I'll show you where we're at and what I've coloured in this book so far, because I do fling so many different things at this book. That is a watercolour background. I think I did that one in a review. That is a watercolour paint background. That was all Prismacolors. That was 2019. That's an old one. Oops. This is fairly recent. June of 2024. That was Yulan Paints and Prismacolor. So I did actually the background. I demonstrated that in my review for the Yulan paints, which is up on the channel. And for the flowers, I did do a demonstration. There is a video on how to colour white objects. And I demonstrated those flowers in that video. What else is in here? Should have flipped through from the back. That would have been easier. So this is from my soft pastel series. We created 4 different backgrounds using soft pastels in this book. That's one. I think it's fairly empty, this book. I think that's why I chose it for the background series. Yeah. That's the second background. Background number 3. I'm still working on this page at the moment. And there is this one here, background number 4. So all of them are soft pastel backgrounds. Yeah, but like I throw watercolor paints, all sorts of wet mediums at it, Neocolor 2s, Inktense, everything, and they just work so well on the paper in Hannah's books. They are brilliant. If you're ever trying to test out a medium to see how it works or to get used to something, Hannah's books are the best for that. So question number 15 is most affordable but great quality. So again, I'm going to mention Lulu Mayo, but this time I've got A Million Sea Creatures to show you. This was always my favourite Lulu book until her newest release, and it's currently only $14, 14 Australian dollars that is, on Amazon. And I love this book. And I mentioned earlier that I just love Lulu's because they're so fun and you can throw so much mediums at it. This is the Artex acrylic marker background. I've used CSY paints and KJ Design by Karen paints on it as well. That's from 2022. I did that one first and then I coloured some of these other pages, and I decided to keep that colour palette all the way through. This one I have coloured as a PDF for the launch of the book, and it is a colour along up on the channel. And I'm not sure if that first one I showed you is a colour along. That one might be a colour along too. That's also an Artex acrylic marker background. This one's, that's some red metallic paints. KJ Design by Karen over here. And yeah, so these are the colour palettes that I chose to carry all the way through. My pink dolphins, pink dolphins, red skies, all sorts of things happening. So that is why I get so much enjoyment out of Lulu's books. It's just really fun. It's like a little bit of a palette cleanser between the big double page spreads. That is another Artex acrylic marker background. Yeah, and that is it from A Million Sea Creatures. And also, like I mentioned earlier, Christine Caron's books, the premium editions, they are amazing quality, and they are currently only 18 Australian dollars. When they are released, if you are a fellow Aussie, check Big W first, because Big W is always cheaper than Amazon. So question 16, book you would recommend to beginners. Okay, so I have picked two, of course, both by Joanna Basford. I have World of Flowers and the new book, Wonderful Wildflowers. Now, a lot of people, myself included, started this hobby with a Joanna Basford book, and I think these are the most beginner-friendly of her books. I did think Small Victories, but I actually think these are more beginner-friendly, in my opinion. Obviously, World of Flowers was my first book as a beginner, and if you have seen my recent review for Wonderful Wildflowers, I did mention that the more simplistic designs in this book will be a great beginner book for people starting out in this hobby. So it does have a few more detailed designs. It does have a lot of negative space and a lot of simpler images to practice. Yeah. So question 17, a book that sparks your creativity. And surprise, surprise, I have chosen a Kirby Roseanne's book, and that is Mythomorphia. This is such an all-round favorite. I could color every single page in this book and not run out of ideas, creativity, and fun. I always say that Kirby feels like home to me. I do color in at least one Kirby book every month, sometimes two, sometimes three. I'm always drawn to his work. And if I'm ever unsure what to color next, or if I feel like I'm going into a bit of a slump, I reach for Kirby, as I'm always inspired by his books. And currently, you know, I have one as a full book color along, and this one it is still a project book until the end of this year. So we have colored a few pages in this book, which are up on the channel as color alongs. There's this one here, and this one. And this one, there's actually a colour along for that page, only that half, not for that one. I did this in my first copy of Mythomorphia, which was actually the US edition. And after colouring just this one page, it fell apart. So I went and bought the UK edition. I normally do buy the UK edition. I don't know how I ended up with the US one by accident. So there is a colour along for this side, but it can be used to colour the other half as well. So, got that one, it's a colour along. I'm pretty sure everything in here is a colour along. That one we did in October. Oops, there's that one. I love this double page spread. Oops. That's it. This one is not a colour along. This one is, I think that might be the only non-color along. I love this double page spread. One of my favorite uncolored pages. This one is a color along. This is a really early page. I think probably 2020, 2021, something like that. But they're all in a playlist for this book as well. All right, so next is question 18, most nostalgic or childhood inspired. This one was tough. I'm going to go with Romantic Country, The Second Tale by Eerie. This whole series, the whole 3 Romantic Country books, and the way the illustrations are drawn, they do remind me of the style of cartoons I would watch on a Saturday morning or after school. The images are just super whimsical. Look how fun they are. Do any of my fellow Aussies remember, I can't remember what it was called. It was on the ABC back in the 90s. It was usually started around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Was it the afternoon show? No, I can't remember now, but it was on ABC. No, it could have even been on SBS. It was either ABC or SBS. And it had shows like Grange Hill, Degrassi Junior High, and then it had cartoons like Baba the Elephant, Danger Mouse, Astro Boy, Banana Man, Trapdoor, all those sort of things. Yeah, so these kind of illustrations, the way she draws certain things do remind me of those days. So this is a really early page. I think it's the first page I coloured in this book, and it was my first attempt at Inktense, which was well, I was going to say it was a fail, but it might not look how I would want it to look now, but it was effective. So I think what went wrong actually did create a nice sky and a nice footpath by accident. Happy accidents. And this was Polychromos. This one is a colour along up on the channel. So this is a project book up until the end of December. Yeah. So this one we did in October. Yeah. So there's a playlist for this book. And other than that first page, I'm pretty sure everything in here is a colour along. Oh, it's getting harder to turn the pages the more I'm talking. I think this is the one we're doing this month, maybe. I can't remember. I love this one. This was Albert Juris and Polychromos. One of my favourite pages I've ever coloured, I think. This one was originally a disaster. This one. So this one here, sorry, I'm watching cows again. Oh my gosh, it's one of those days. Yeah, so this was a disaster from Neo Colour Tooth. My Neo Colour Tooth did not work well in this book whatsoever. There's 4 cows running now, sorry. I'm just looking to make sure they're not chasing anything. Nothing's chasing them. I think they just got the zoomies again. Yeah, they're little ones, so they're running up to their mums. Yeah, okay, all good. Yeah, so Neo Colour 2s do not work for me in this book, but I went over the top with my Prismacolor pencils and it looks so smooth. Like, look at that. I don't think you'd ever imagine that there was a bit of a Neo Colour disaster underneath that. And I think it bled through too, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that was my Neo Colour 2 bleed through. Yep, so we had this one. And that one. That one is a bit busy. I do love colouring that page. That was fun. I think that was Christmas last year. Very busy, a little bit chaotic, a little bit like this video is turning out to be, I think. Okay, so that was Romantic Country. Next question. Question 19, book with the most variety of pages. Okay, so I would also include the Romantic Country series in this category, but I'm also going to add in Fairy Tales and Folklore by Emily Lederholt Oberg. Now, this question was difficult for me because I feel like most of my books tend to have some sort of theme, so there isn't very much variety. That's not the right word. That's not what I'm looking for. But they tend to have a theme. So like Mythic World, it's all about myths. Fairy Tales, all about fairy tales. So I did find it hard to come up with something that had the most variety of pages. But I think Romantic Country is pretty good because we have lots of different seasonal pages through here. And even with the chapters, you can see cheerful towns, fairies and work in nature, witches, hidden forest, beautiful castles, lakes and landscapes, that sort of thing. And Fairy Tales and Folklore, this is just a really unique book. I do love this book, but I don't love the paper. That was Prismacolor pencils and I struggled. Like, that turned out smooth. And the final result, I think, is beautiful. I love the final result, but it took a lot of work to get that blended the way I like to blend things. And I've used polychromos in this book too, and also wasn't happy with how they worked. So I haven't found my favourite pencils in this book yet. And I love the images. I'm put off because of the paper. So this was polychromos. That is watercolour paint in the background. So it does take water mediums really well. I might have used Albrecht Dürer for basing and polychromos over the top for that one, but I think I liked that less than I liked using Prismas, but I don't know. I keep saying I'm going to do a paper test and see which pencils work best for me in this book. Test all my pencils out, but yeah, the images are all quite unique, I think. It is a really fun and different book. So that is Fairy Tales and Folklore. Now, question 20, we have a seasonal favourite, and I have chosen Godjewel by Hannah Carlzon. Hannah is one of my favourite illustrators, and I love her take on Christmas. I do also love her new Halloween book as well. Now, I know Maria Trolle has a Christmas book out now as well, which I haven't added to my collection just yet, but it does look great. So that could be on the list for the future. But I am loving this at the moment. That is a colour along up on the channel. That is a Distress ink background. So many beautiful images. I did flip through this for my November plans, and nothing was really calling out to me at that time. That one, oh, I think it's a colour along up on the channel. So I'll have a look at it again in December and see if anything is really grabbing my attention. They're all beautiful images, but nothing was really standing out as I really need to colour that this month. This I love. And there is another double page spread in here too, which I really like as well. That one. That one will take a while. That could be a good one for December, but it's really busy. I don't know if I get that much done. It is really pretty though. Such a beautiful book. Yeah, so that, and Christmas is my favourite season too. So this is my seasonal favourite book, and that is Godjewel or Merry Christmas by Hannah Carlzon. Okay, so question 21 is most whimsical or fun book, and this was actually the hardest question for me. So most fun for me, so I love my Kirby books, but I think most fun could be my Lulu Mayo books, but most whimsical could be my Rita Berman book. So I've pulled out the Hidden Oceans book that I'm yet to colour in from Rita Berman, because this is very whimsical, it's very fun, as is all of Rita's work. And I did do a pencil test in the background here. We've got wax-based pencils, oil-based, water mediums, watercolour pencils, water-based markers and gel pens, just to see how they would work in the book. Just testing out this paper as it is different to the German editions. And you can see there was no bleed through or anything there, but the images on any of Rita's books are so whimsical. They're so fun. They're so cute. We've got an octopus with a paint palette. Yeah. Such a wonderful imagination. Look at that. This is beautiful. I might take this one on holiday with me, I think. See if I can get some pages coloured in summer. Such a fun book though. I coloured this actually on holidays either last summer or the year before in the German edition. Beautiful, and I love ocean themed pages. There's a double page spread in here that I absolutely, that is so cute. Like, how is that not fun? This work is, this one, I think in that, I thought that was a cover image. Maybe it's the cover image of the German edition, because I know she changed up the covers of the English edition. But this double page spread, I love this so much. This is so much fun. But these two here, but look, the fish is watching them. We've got this guy here with his magnifying glass watching. I do love this double page spread. It's a beautiful, vibrant colours. Lots of sparkle as well on that page. That looks fun. I just skipped a whole bunch too, didn't I? Yeah. Look at that. Oh, that one looks fun as well, even though it's got so many bubbles. This This one's interesting. I feel like it needs to go all the way up. I feel like I want to push the image up. Yeah, so I think this one is one of my most fun books, Hidden Oceans by Rita Berman. Anything by Rita Berman, Lulu Mayo, who else did I say? Rita Berman, Lulu Mayo. They're probably the most fun books for me, and Rita Berman's work is very whimsical. It's just very cute. So, question 22. Oh, we are almost there. It's the second last question. So, 22 is the most realistic or nature-inspired book, and I have a couple, of course I do, for this category. First up is Fragile World by Kirby Roseanne's, yet again another Kirby book. This book is amazing, not only for the illustrations, but it is all about animals and habitats that are endangered or near risk of extinction. Kirby was also donating some proceeds of this book to the David Shepherd Wildlife Foundation, I think it was called. Let's have a look. Yeah, the David Shepherd Wildlife Foundation. So he was donating some royalties from these books to that charity to help with wildlife conservation, which I think is wonderful, and all the more reason to purchase this book as well. So this is a fantastic book full of feathers and fur and different styles of skies and landscapes to colour. If you like colouring animals, if you like colouring things realistic, this is a beautiful book. But even though it is a realistic nature-inspired book, you don't have to colour it realistic. Look at my sky. It's like a reddish pinky sky. What else have I coloured in here? So, this was a project book for a couple of months actually before Dark Fairy Tales came out. So we do have a couple of quite a few pages actually as colour alongs. Every page you see coloured today is a colour along up on the channel in the playlist. Oh, I skipped a whole bunch. Yeah, that is Polychromos and Neocolor 2s. I think that's Prismacolor. I think. Actually, it could be Polychromos and Alberturas, maybe. Can't remember. It's in the colour along. What else do we have? That one, that's all Prismas, I believe. Oops. That one is Prismacolors and... Oh, no, it's all Prismacolors. I think even the background was Prismacolors. That is all Prismacolors too, including the background. And that's all that's on there, actually. I haven't even used any white gel pen or anything. That looks really clean and crisp, actually. I really like that page. I love those leaves too. That one, I think it was the first page I coloured in this book for the release of it, actually. This was sent to me as a pre-release copy, so I coloured that before it was out. And it's one of my favourite pages in this book. And then there's that one. And that is it. But I do have another book. Another two, actually, I think. So Layla Dooley, her work is always very realistic, very nature-inspired. This is Beautiful Planet, and it is quite a large book here. I have coloured a couple of pages in here. I don't think any of these are colour alongs, actually. So that's one that I coloured. That was for a buddy colour. Is that getting in the screen there? That's nice and colourful. That is an acrylic paint background and Prismacolor pencils. Yeah. And that one there was Prismacolor pencils and Distress watercolor pencils. And yeah, look, this is pretty detailed work as well. And quite realistic. Now, Layla Dooley also has, she has a few books actually, but I have this one and I have The Flower Year. And I'll just show you The Flower Year as well, because that is also quite realistic and also nature inspired. This is really cute. I love the format of this book actually. I've got off-white paper. I've coloured that, and I think that, oh no, there is, I was going to say that's all I've coloured in this book, but there actually isn't. There actually is another colour along. In here somewhere. That one is a colour along for the Foxglove up on the channel. I'm pretty sure that's Prismacolor pencils. Yeah, so the paper is off-white. It's kind of like that ivory colour. It takes the pencils really well. The book is quite small, so it is quite detailed. So I've got Magical Jungle next to me, actually, because I'm colouring in that at the moment. And if you have a look there, you can see the size difference compared to Magical Jungle. Yeah, so very realistic flowers. And this one actually gives you the information. So that's a foxglove. And yeah, you've got all the details at the back here as well of what is what. So they would be my most realistic nature inspired books. Okay, book you've ignored the longest. This is our last question. So for this one, I've pulled out Melpomene Chatzipanagottu's Circle of Life. This was her first book and probably my favourite Melpomene book, although I do like her most recent one. And she has a new one coming out at the beginning of, is it the beginning? She normally releases March 2026, but she does have a new book coming out in 2026. I'm just a little bit confused because Kirby normally releases in March as well, but next year he's releasing in October. So I think Melpomene is still releasing in March. So probably my favourite Melpomene book. I actually haven't coloured in this book since 2024, and that was this double page spread here, which is a colour along up on the channel. And I based this with Tombow water-based markers, polychromos over the top, and Neocolor 2 for the background, and some KJ design by Karen gold paint there as well. So I have been flipping through Melpomene's books each month when making my plans. I did so at the end of October as well, this one in particular, and her new book. I was flipping through, not so much Nature Mandalas, that's probably my least favourite of her books, but nothing was calling out to me. I do like this page. And the thing is, I flip through it and I'm like, oh, I really like that. But the reality of having the time to colour some of the details, I'll start from the back here. It's easier to flip. Yeah, so that one is a colour along up on the channel. Yeah. I like that page too. I love that. That is my dream to colour one day, this double page spread. I just need the time to spend on it. That's all. I need a couple of extra hours in the day, as we all do. Where are all my coloured pages? I know I've coloured more in this book. Oh, there's one. That's an early Distress ink background too, and you can see my little marks there, in the little circular marks. So yeah, so that's early work. That was the Acorn page. I think that was, yeah, it was 2021. So we've improved a little since then, or a lot. Oh, there's more in here. Okay, there's that one as well. That was the first page I coloured in this book. It was all Prismas. That one I love. So I think that one and that one I think are colour alongs up on the channel as well. So is that double page spread. Actually, I think everything I've coloured in here. Yes, everything I've coloured in here is a colour along up on the channel under my Melpomene playlist. So while I was looking at that same bookshelf, I also picked up another book, and that is one of the Beauty of Horror books by Alan Roberts. So this one is Creature Feature, which is probably my favourite out of his books, but I don't reach for these books at all anymore. I don't think these books are for me anymore. I'm thinking of possibly de-stashing my Beauty of Horror books. I have four. I have four in my collection, actually. This is my favorite, so I may hang on to this one. but I'm thinking I'm probably going to let all of them go because I do only colour them in my when I'm in my Halloween period of colouring, but I have so many other spooky books that I would reach for before reaching for these. So this is what I have coloured in this book, and this is the only page I've coloured. I think this is the Stranger Things one, and I'll just quickly flick through. Yep, that's all I've coloured, just this one here. Yeah, so this is one I've ignored the longest, and it's one I'm probably going to continue to ignore, I think. So likely my Beauty of Horror books will be destashed. So that was the final question, I think. Yeah, that was question 23. So that's it. That wraps up all of my colouring confessions. I hope you enjoyed going through this with me. They're such fun questions, and I loved taking this little trip down memory lane. I say little trip, but this is probably about 3 hours long. If you did make it all the way to the end with me and you're not sick of hearing my voice, pop a book emoji in the comments so I know you're still here, still with me. And let me know, are you surprised by any of my picks? And if so, what would your choice have been for those questions? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like or a hype. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I would love to have you here as part of our colouring community. And thank you so much for hanging out with me today and listening to me chat all things colouring confessions. And I will see you all in the next video. So take care, happy colouring, and bye for now.